You know that Pete's a bacon lover. He always tests our bacon and our cheese before I serve anything, so we know that bacon is a key to his heart. Today we are going to be making a Blackstone meal, and I am basically going to share a recipe that is the main course. But I'm also going to be doing a really simple side dish. It doesn't need a recipe. You might want to take a few notes or watch this, because if you have a problem getting people to eat greens, things like green beans or Brussels sprouts, you aren't going to have that problem anymore if they're bacon lovers. The funny thing though is that I got bacon in the main dish too. So I guess it's like bacon night here at our campsite. I just sliced up these Brussels sprouts, cut off the ends, sliced them up in half, and that's all I did. So they're still super, super hard, and they take a lot longer to cook than the chicken dish that I'm going to be making a little bit later. We're going to go ahead and start these Brussels sprouts, and then I'm going to let them get going, give them a head start, and then we'll start working on our chicken dish. So I already have my Blackstone going, preheating just a little bit, and I'm gonna shoot it with a little bit of just water here to kind of clean it up a little bit, a little extra. Anytime you have a little bit of residue left here, you know that you need to clean a little bit more off. So I'm gonna do that first, and then we are gonna get the Brussels sprouts going. And bacon takes a long time to cook, but Brussels sprouts take the longest when you're talking about going fresh Brussels sprouts that you didn't give a head start with. Like a lot of times people will do a little bit in the microwave and kind of par cook them, but we're running low on our power right now. I don't want to turn on our microwave, and I know a lot of people go camping without even having that capability, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this all on the Blackstone so you can do it at your campsite too. I've got everything all on one tray here. I'm going to put these on here, and you know I got my little Christmas present back here. So now my Brussels sprouts or any other little chopped things are not going to be going. I'm not going to lose those through the drain hole back there, which is really an awesome thing. But that was my belated Christmas present, because it didn't come in time for Pete to give me that before Christmas. So I actually ended up getting it while we were out here at Kofa. And we're camping in Kofa National Wildlife Refuge. It's one of the most beautiful places to camp for free for 14 days. So if you have never been here, you might want to check that out. I'll leave a link for our video for this place in the description below. You can see how beautiful it is and decide if you want to maybe come out and camp here. So I'm going to turn these things over and let the cut side hit the griddle. So you can do this if you don't have a Blackstone. You can always just do it in like a cast iron skillet or, you know, just like a regular pan. That works too. But I like the char of this. And you know, I like cooking on the Blackstone because it's so easy to clean. I don't have a lot of dishes. Shoot it with a little water, wipe it up, and then add a little bit of oil to season it, and we're good. So I'm not using extra water to wash and rinse dishes inside the trailer when we're boondocking, which is really important for us. I want to kind of give them a chance to crisp up just a little bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil. Look at this nice brown char that we're getting on the cut sides that we're touching the griddle. That's what we're looking for. We want a little bit of brown on everything. And then once we get them browned, we're going to steam them a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and close this lid for just a couple of minutes, probably not even that long, and just kind of let that heat through and steam up a little bit. It's not really going to steam, we're just sort of charring right now. Oil and a cast iron anything, skillet, griddle, whatever, is a really magic combination to be able to add some nice texture to whatever. If it's a meat or a vegetable, it doesn't matter. It gives you a really nice kind of crust. The other thing that we're going to be doing here is a little bit of bacon and some garlic. And you know, we're garlic lovers. We definitely are not going to have any problems with vampires around our campsite because I cook with it a lot. Sometimes if I want to be really quick, I'm going to use a garlic salt and just kind of like shake it out of, you know, a spice jar. But when I really want a nice fresh garlic flavor, I go through the trouble of chopping a little bit of fresh garlic. Salt and pepper here too, because I'm going to be using that in a little bit. And you know, I keep all of this stuff right here in my handy dandy case that we carry our Blackstone in when we are transporting. And I did a video on this. This is my favorite Christmas present from this last Christmas because it does double duty. If you haven't seen that video, I will leave a link for that in the description below. So let's go ahead and check on our Brussels sprouts here. See how that smoke's coming up? That means that we've got some extra heat going on here. That's what I want. I want a nice little char before I actually start to steam these guys. So I'm going to add a little bit of water to this, and then I'm going to close the lid and let it steam. Yes, that's nice and hot. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and turn it down at this point. And all I'm doing is trying to soften those Brussels sprouts to the point that they're kind of par cooked, almost to the same point that they would be if I did them in the microwave and did a par cook in the microwave. But again, I like this actually better than the microwave, not only because it saves that electric, but also because I really like the texture of this much better. And if you overcook in the microwave, you're gonna get soggy, and once you get soggy, you can't take it back. I'm gonna set these aside so that I can then begin to cook the bacon that's gonna be mixed in with the Brussels sprouts. I'm gonna just dump this right here. I did all of my messy, gotta wash your hands after you do it stuff inside the trailer when I prepped. I like doing that all at one time, all together. Then I keep all that mess in one place, and I'm not having to go wash my hands every couple of minutes as I'm cooking. We're gonna brown up this bacon. See how this little thing helped, this little gate here? It's a little, what do you call it? Kind of like a blockade. There's, you can still see that there's a hole in there, so the oil or grease, if you're trying to get extra moisture off your grill, you can still shove it down there, but you're not gonna lose little things like this bacon here. I love that. One of my other favorite Christmas presents I got this year. Really nice. The other thing I wanted to mention here is that the last thing that we're going to be putting on, in addition to salt and pepper, is a little bit of fresh garlic. I don't want to put my garlic on too soon because garlic has a tendency to burn. And you absolutely don't want to burn your garlic, because if it's all mixed in with the rest of this stuff, you can't take it back, you can't take it out, and you kind of ruin the whole thing. So don't ever put your garlic on too soon. That is a benefit of using garlic powder or garlic salt, because it doesn't burn the same way that fresh garlic, but it also doesn't taste as good. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper first to the Brussels sprouts themselves, and then I'm going to add a little bit of, so that was correct, black pepper, and then salt, and then I'm going to put the garlic right on top, and then I'm going to toss everything all together. And then I'm going to turn this way down. Actually, I'm going to do it right now. Turn it way down low and let that kind of just slowly cook until I am ready to start my chicken, my main dish. If we cook the bacon till it is actually like cooked, then you're going to overcook the bacon and undercook the Brussels sprouts. I've got this all the way on low. I'm going to close that, let it cook while I go inside and bring back out the rest, my actual main meal. We're doing a chicken that has bacon and cheese, and you know, we kind of are bacon cheesy people, so it should be a good dinner tonight. So the second thing that's going to take the longest to cook are the potatoes. The potatoes are actually part of the main dish, but we need to give them a head start before we get the chicken on. So that's what I'm going to add next. Set those over here, way over to the side, because I'm going to need a lot more room to cook the main dish. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil to my cooking surface here. And then I'm going to toss. I need to catch that so it doesn't, look at that. Oh my gosh, it was almost, all that oil was almost just gonna go down the drain there. Actually, I normally use Yukon Golds for this recipe, but I ended up not having that for, I actually used it for another recipe and I didn't buy enough. So I'm using plain old russets here, and I needed to take the skins off. I had to use a potato peeler, get the skins off so I can cook these, and they're more like a russet that way, getting rid of that skin. So I'm gonna go nice and slow so these don't burn. Remember that heat, the higher the heat, the faster you're cooking, the faster it's gonna burn if you've got something that actually takes some time. So if you're cooking something that needs time, like the Brussels sprouts or the potatoes, they are going to get burned on the outside before they get finished cooking on the inside, and you don't want that. So don't be afraid to turn this heat down and give them time. I'll let these hang out here while I go get the rest of the ingredients. Here's my next batch of bacon. Yes, I have more bacon. Pete's really happy tonight. So this is actually going to be part of the main dish, and it's going to be mainly chicken and bacon together. We are almost done here. So I've got my cubed up chicken, and I'm going to check to see how things are going inside here. Nice action on the bacon. I want to give my chicken a little extra space. This is one of the smaller Blackstones, so you kind of have to manage your space a little bit more than you might in some other larger Blackstone. I should have enough grease here from the bacon to cook that, but I can see I've got a couple of spots that look a little bit dry, so I'm going to just add a little bit of olive oil there. I'm going to add my chicken next. This is why I like cutting mats that can fold, because you can funnel your food right onto that surface and kind of direct it exactly where you want it to go. I like just throwing my meat on the grill like that and then adding my seasonings. When it's laying there in one layer, then you can easily kind of shake stuff over and get everything nice and coated. So I need a whole teaspoon of garlic salt. And if that kind of goes over into my bacon and my potatoes, that's okay, because eventually it's all going to get mixed together. And I want this chicken cooking a little bit faster, so I'm going to go ahead and turn up my heat some. And then I've got some paprika. Paprika gives flavor and it gives color, so it's really nice. And I only need about a half a teaspoon of that. If you're windy, make sure that you're not losing all of your spices as you sprinkle them all over your food. And then the last thing is a little bit of onion powder. Same deal here. And we're good. Now we just want to toss this. We're going to cook the chicken through. By the time the chicken is done cooking, our bacon's going to be nice and crisp, and we'll be ready to toss everything all together. What's your biggest challenge when you are cooking outside? I know we're having a really nice day today without a lot of wind, so that helps to do a lot easier with like heat control. But I'm curious to know when when you're dealing with the elements, you just never know what's out there. So it's I would love to help you out, and if I have any tips for you, I would love to share those. But I don't know for sure what your problem is, or how many other problems. You might have several. I know that I do. I come across things, and then I find little tips and tricks to kind of give solutions to those challenging times. So let me know what you're thinking. I'm going to go ahead and toss this chicken. So what we want now is the chicken to get browned on all sides. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to go wash up my spatulas so I've got no more raw chicken on here. I'll do a final toss and then we'll serve. Remember my tip. If you're cooking for somebody who has a special place in their heart for certain ingredients, make sure they make it on the plate. I am almost guaranteed that Pete is going to love my meal if I have bacon and chicken, or no, bacon and cheese in it. Bacon and cheese are always winners. So this is like a double batch bacon, right? So he should be like giving me 5 stars tonight, I think. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I'm going to clean these. I'll be right back. Okay, ready to eat?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's see how things are looking. See the nice brown color that's on that chicken now? Chicken pieces are way too small to be able to put a thermometer in there to know when those things are done. So what we're gonna do is just kind of visually look for anything that still looks pink and make sure that everything doesn't look pink. And then after we're positive that everything looks like it's about, you know, the same color, I'm gonna look for the biggest piece on the cooking surface, and I'm gonna cut that in half, and I'm gonna make sure that it is cooked through and we got nothing pink inside. And I would say that's probably this one here. Probably looks pretty big. Let's check it out. There's one side of that one. It looks good. This one, same thing. Nothing pink is left. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag over all of these potatoes and the bacon that are going to get tossed with the chicken. We're good here, right? We got a nice toss with the bacon, potatoes, and the chicken. Let's stick that in a layer. I am going to put all of this cheese, yes, all of this cheese on top. Yeah, isn't that crazy? I'm going to let that melt a little bit, and then we're going to serve. This is a bacon and cheese lover's meal if I've ever seen one. I think Pete should be happy tonight. I don't know. It's getting dark. The sun is going down. I'm glad that I made it before it actually got too dark out here. So as soon as this is melted, I'm going to plate up and we are going to have dinner. I'm going to go, oh, I forgot our forks. I got to go in and get some forks, and that's fine because this needs a little more time. I'll be right back. Okay, you want to check it out? I think we should be melted. Ooh, we're nice over here. That's got a little ways to go, which is totally fine. Let me go ahead and plate up. And for this other stuff that's sitting on the grill, as it sits here, it's going to continue to, that cheese will continue to melt. So I'm going to start with a nice portion of Brussels sprouts. Sometimes I put a little bit of Parmesan cheese, freshly grated Parmesan cheese on top, which is a really nice addition. And then this should serve 4. It's a nice hearty meal. Here we go. How's that look?
Looks good. All right, let's see.
Oh my gosh, cheesy, bacony chicken. You can't go wrong here with some Brussels sprouts that have garlic and bacon in those too. This is dinner tonight. It should be delicious. I will have a link in the description below so you can get the recipe if you want to try it too. Let me know if you have any questions and I will talk to you soon. Let's try it. Great flavor. Is it your plate? Nice.